This episode of TRS is brought to you by Thunderbolt by HTC, the only phone that can harness the power of 4G LTE. Coming up on today's show, we kick some ass with our review of Bulletstorm.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Totally Rad Show. Today's Monday, starting a big week. Today we are talking about the new video game Bulletstorm, which I'd say highly anticipated.
Indeed, and tomorrow we're checking back in with you, the viewer. We're opening the mailbag, plucking out mail, reading it.
Virtually.
Yeah, we're gonna mime it.
And on Wednesday, we get to chat about the movie coming out this week called The Adjustment Bureau.
Correctamundo. Thursday, we're back for Media Mashup, which will be super fun.
And then Friday, we got another movie for you, Rango. Johnny Depp as a lizard.
As a lizard.
As a Rango.
As a Rango. We want to thank our friend Will Noble, who sent in this background.
That is a rad background.
Epic, hand-sketched, I believe.
I think this is actually a photo of paper on a desk.
Yeah.
He drew us.
Yeah, which is
our
epic.
likenesses.
Which is awesome. If you'd like
Thank
to
you,
have
Will.
your background featured, I guess I was like shown, backgrounded, featured on the show, please feel free to send them to fans at totallyradshow.com. Shall we get Bulletstormed?
Do it. Storm it up. Today we're talking about Bulletstorm, the new game from Epic Games and People Can Fly. People Can Fly is a Polish developer. Their first game was a game called Painkiller. Did either of you guys play Painkiller?
No, but got it.
Yeah, very over-the-top PC shooter from a few years ago. A game I enjoyed quite a bit when it came out. Now they've got another game that's very much over the top. Bulletstorm is a game about a pack of dude bros that like blowing stuff up, and one of them, they crash land on a planet. One of them, the character you play, Gray, I believe his name is, finds this thing called a leash, and it plugs him into a whole network that starts to award him points for stylish kills. So you have this point system, and the leash allows you to flip people up in the sky, you can kick them, you can throw them into things, and all of a sudden you start collecting all these weapons and doing really interesting, creative ways to dismember and destroy. It is a very violent game, very profane game, but it is tons of over-the-top action on the Unreal Engine. Alex.
Yes.
Did you, do you want an umbrella for your Bulletstorm?
Did you weather the storm?
Much better. But I also had an umbrella. Yeah, interesting. I was really excited about this game because I really like the concept of not only just the sort of Call of Duty joy button of, oh, I must have killed it because I got XP, and then to be adding on top of that, one, doing that in single player,
Yep.
which I wish everybody would start doing because it makes it a lot easier to know when the guy's dead. But two, adding on that layer of the sort of fun juggling of different deaths. It's basically a giant achievement game where you can actually go through and look at the list, and there were a couple times where I was like, I feel like I've been getting a lot of 10s, you know, and it was like, look at the list. And I was like, oh, I haven't shot somebody in the nuts and then kicked their head off. I'll try that.
I had a hard time trying to do that, actually.
So that's my biggest, complaint with this game, which is this game is not fun to play. The fun of playing it is not there. The fun could have been there had the shooting been better, had the actual gameplay been better. I feel like if this was Gears, where I could slam up against a wall and hide under cover and then pop out, choose my shots more carefully, whereas usually what ended up happening was if it was like one guy, I'd be like, okay, well, I wanted to try the balls head thing, try it, did it, great. If it was 2 or 3 people, it was, get headshot, and there was no way for me to be able to like, I'm gonna try to do these cool things that the game allows me to do.
Boy.
For the most part.
I really disagree.
Yeah, and I feel like to me it showed how great the gameplay of Gears of War is. The sort of stop and pop, the like sliding into the thing. I don't need a jump button in Gears of War. I felt constantly glued to the ground in this game. I was like, why is there no jump button in this game?
Please tell me you got to the sniper rifle.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
I thought it was the best sniping in the history of video games.
Yes, it was very good sniping. But I didn't want to just have to snipe. I mean, I love me some sniping.
Right.
But it's not a sniper game. It's not Sniper 3.
Well, but you can use
the
you can use this. I mean, you can choose your loadout from that. You lasso into this console and you choose your loadout.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a lot of games.
Well, I wanted to say
ahead.
real quick one more thing. A lot of slowdown in the cutscenes for me. I mean, to the point where I thought
technically.
Yeah, I thought my Xbox was going to literally just stop at the beginning of this game. 2, it seemed very uneven as far as story versus cutscene versus gameplay, especially at the top. The pacing was really boring to me because it was like, guys, bam, 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 fade out to black, fade into random cutscene, fade out to black.
I definitely
fade
agree
into
with that.
guys shooting, and I was like,
There's a prologue to this game, and I agree with you. The prologue is atrocious.
Yeah.
It should be completely removed. Doesn't really add much.
Yeah.
Dan, what did you think of Bulletstorm?
There's too much to agree and disagree with. I enjoyed the prologue.
Really?
I actually really liked the story in the game because it was very simple and not convoluted, which is weird that is an achievement to laud in video games because it seems so many video games are very convoluted. And I loved the simplicity of the story. And I enjoy the amped upness. It made it very fun. It's very 80s. It's funny how what this is. The sentimentality of this game is the action stars of the 80s. It's brawn as opposed to smarts versus evil. It's Commando.
But that's
and
most
Predator.
video games.
I know. Well, that's true. But this really
it.
celebrates that. And I think that it's just so funny to me how I'm waiting for movies to circle back around to that, and I feel like maybe the video games adaptations are the way back around.
Interesting.
Because we have anti-heroes now and we have guys with glasses and smartly figuring out Jason, Matt Damon, which I love. But I've always wanted, could we go
great
back?
glasses.
Could we go back in The Rock? We've attempted a little bit with The Rock and all that stuff, but like this is really. I mean, it's Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, shaking hands but shaking arms instead. Like that was fun. I had a lot of fun playing the game. I thought that the as you said, making it one big achievement to unlock made it a ton of fun because if without that, it would have felt like another first-person shooter that looked great and sounded great and did all those great things, but just another one. And the XP stuff really made it. I was playing like almost like a Tony Hawk game. I was like, how can I kill this guy? When a guy was floating towards me when I leashed him, I was like, where can I kick him to get the point? So it's always like a fun combo-y thing, never I feel like I'm gonna die, I just need to kill people. So I never felt the just spraying bullets. I was always trying to have fun with it because the game really celebrates that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I disagree with you on the story point. I really had to get past that, and I felt like the prologue was so clunky, and these guys, they go in and they look at a screen and they're like, it says here that all these people were innocent. It's like, what?
Yeah,
like, how did you get that information?
No,
and then they
I know.
make decisions based off of that 1 second.
At least one guy was like, hey, good decision, buddy. But other than that,
was funny.
But I have to say, as the game went on, it would totally won me over with the humor because I thought the humor was really base and just kind of easy and lowest common denominator. And then it gets really kind of clever, and I started laughing at a lot of stuff.
Interesting.
It started enjoying it, and I agree with you 100% about the combat. I think it's the most fun I've had with a first-person shooter in a long time, and I was completely surprised because I knew going in that this was going to be a sandbox kind of experience where you're supposed to be creative with kills. But I anticipated that feeling a lot like something like Red Faction, or any of these other kind of sandbox shooters where, I can have a lot of fun, but then I sort of click into the things that I like the best and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's exactly what you said. It's more like a Tony Hawk game, or even like a Street Fighter, where I went into the battle going, I'm going to attempt to do this thing.
Street Fighter's like that. Street Fighter, you're like, I'm gonna fireball. Like,
This is my first time fireball.
It's like I have a specific thing I want to do, so I need to set myself up to do that thing, and it became more fun of how am I going to get that specific, because what they do smartly is the first time you get one of these unique kills, it's much more points than subsequent times.
Yeah.
So you constantly, and the points are really valuable because you need them to unlock stuff.
Right, there's not just an achievement, it's like you
Yeah.
need it
It's
to
a currency.
It's money,
the
yeah.
game.
It's money, which is smart.
And you really get to define how much money. I mean, so many of these games have like money drops where you find them in the game and then you can spend them. But then that means that the developers have put a finite amount of money on the game. You really have the opportunity to have infinite money depending on your creativity.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the sniping. The sniping to me is like, there's so many games where you control the bullet after you shoot it.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how just having the enemy dodge at the last second makes it so much more fun, so much more unpredictable.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's so satisfying to me. I was like, Alex is gonna love the sniping in this game.
But there were so many things, like couldn't get into cover, like the cover was squat. Hold the squat button. That's not cover. Especially, and I really I wish that game designers would say, if you can't hug cover, no character in this game should do cool cover shit.
Yeah,
because I hate that when I'm literally like just taking a poop, holding my thumb, trying not to get shot, and my buddy's like one leg up, under the shoulder, hugging the back, shooting over the shoulder, and I'm like, I want to do all of that stuff.
I don't think they want you to
But it kept
stay
saying,
cover.
get under cover.
Yeah, well only because you're
Getting my ass kicked because I'm trying to spray the bullets and do all this stuff.
Because I find that stuff, I've gotten very bored with games where I'm just in cover and it doesn't matter how good the graphics are because I'm just like hitting dots far away from me, you know? So like I also feel like it's so hard to innovate in first-person shooters. Every game does so many of the same things.
Yeah.
And you like when Gears did the reload thing, we were like, oh my god! You know, when it's like you wouldn't think there was anything else to do, and like the
And that's in
leash
this game with
and
the
the
cool
double.
leash.
And I love the double tap A slide. It's
Awesome.
awesome. Like, oh my god! Now I feel like I hope some games borrow this.
Well, there's a lot of games. Whatchamacallit, that the game that came out begins with a V. Doesn't matter.
Oh, I know.
No, not Vindictus.
But
Doesn't matter.
Vanguard.
Vanguard,
No.
yeah. Nope.
I don't think that's right either.
That is a game, though.
We have to talk for a second.
Vindictus.
The Godzilla level.
Yes, where you're
yeah.
controlling the thing.
Oh my God! So much
But that's
fun.
the thing, dude.
Set
Epic
piece-
has those great set piece moments.
Yeah.
Is like all the gear. This game got me excited for Gears 3.
I see where you're coming from. It's that dude bro thing, and I think Gears 3 is going to be amazing. It felt so. What did I say? Two. I think it felt so unique and so different. It makes me sad that you didn't love it more.
It was fun. The gameplay.
It completely
didn't
won me
hit
over because I was like, this game is stupid. When the first 20 minutes to 40 minutes I was playing it, I was like, this game's dumb. It's insulting my intelligence.
Yeah.
And then it just like totally won me over, which is such a unique experience.
Do you think they would ever make Gears, as the ending thought, do you think they would ever make Gears first person?
No.
No, I mean, it's its own thing. It's a third person.
I think they will.
Good question.
Just to be controversial.
So remember to stick tuned. We got This Day in Rad History coming up, but we want to thank our sponsors. We are sponsored today by the Thunderbolt for Verizon 4G LTE. The Thunderbolt is the only device powerful enough to take the power of Verizon's 4G LTE, harness it into telephone awesomeness.
What?
The Thunderbolt is mobile hotspot enabled, which means you can have Wi-Fi access anywhere for up to 5 Wi-Fi enabled devices, which is epic. Check it out, coming soon.
Awesome. That
Just
sounds
like
awesome.
us for tomorrow.
Check out tomorrow's episode when we answer some of your questions.
So today is February 28th, and on this day in Rad history, way back in 1983, the final episode of MASH airs on CBS to a record 125 million viewers. Just to put that into some perspective, the final episode of Cheers was 80 million, the final episode of Friends, 52 million, the final episode of Cosby, 44, and shockingly, at least to me in this, the final episode of Lost, 13.5 million people.
Yeah, it's a record that will never be broken.
Oh,
I think it's pretty clear, and that shows, as we move through history, the potential pie is being smaller and smaller as we go, and there's just so many more channels now. There's so many more things.
It reminds me of, I think about in the 50s, like the World Series, like everyone listened to the same thing or watched the same thing, and like this is probably closer to us, obviously, but still, like that's still, the vestige is still there before TV was taken over by cable. Like we all were still all watching the same thing.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you
And I
guys
never
watch
watched
MASH?
I didn't watch the movie. It's Robert Altman. Someone sent it to me, and I still haven't watched it.
I mean, it's a great movie. It's a little
Show's
not.
great, too.
Yeah, and the show's great. I
watched
mean,
it in reruns.
for me, it didn't really connect as much, just because
Yeah.
I don't know if it's of our time, but it's still you see why it all happened.